Okay, now I'll tell you about step 5 in a semi-truck accident case. And again, we don't have, these kind of all just happen at once, but breaking it down for you. Next step would be to secure evidence that's not in the possession of the insurance company. And that's really depends definitely on the type of case, the type of injuries sustained, or completely different in a death case if someone died. But you know, evidence in the possession, not in the possession of the insurance company, meaning stuff we can get and find on our own. And the first thing we think of are witnesses. If there are any other vehicles who were involved or which were involved in the accident, any other drivers, of course we consider their own interests. I mean, they may be represented by lawyers, they may not, if they really had nothing to do with the accident and they're not worried about being held at fault. In that case, we may hire private investigators to go, who are very experienced with interviewing witnesses and who know what we want. They know what's good and helpful to the case and what's not so helpful, right? Because witnesses could say something that really doesn't help your case, or complicates who was at fault. So if the witnesses tell us something that we don't think is helpful, then we'll just take note of it, make plans to deal with it if that evidence comes to light, if the other side discovers that information. But we have no obligation to disclose that. But if it's helpful, then we want to secure that evidence, and so we will get a notarized statement from the person. Depending on the scenario, I mean, if we thought there's some reason they might disappear, we may take steps beyond just getting a notarized statement. So again, kind of depends a lot on the facts. Oh, by the way, I'm on a run, just going slow here today, kind of walking some in a little town where I come for the dirt roads. But anyway, yeah, so witnesses is a big part of it. But another thing, if let's just say our client has sustained serious injuries, then we're going to talk to them about how we can get photos and videos of them now going through different stages of their treatment, and what we need to preserve that evidence, or there are steps that need to be taken so that we can get those photographs admitted into evidence. And so we instruct them on how to go about doing that. We may talk to their case managers or their social workers or their family and describe kind of some of the photographs we need and would like to have, videos we would like to have, what's not as helpful in those. And so that's documenting the extent of their injuries and their treatment as they go through. You know, often we hope our clients will get better, and which is awesome and what we want. But if we don't capture what they went through in the difficult stages, it's really hard to tell that story with just words, right? It's kind of like if I were trying to describe to you the scenery on this run with words. You know, nothing would do that like this video is doing. And it's the same kind of thing. But well, part of the reason for that is in the future, these cases take a long time to get a trial, and you won't remember the details, the pain and the struggle you went through when you were in rehab and when you were going through therapy and recovering from surgery. You won't remember those details as much as, you know, the video can tell the story. You can, by the way, keep a journal. That's a different issue I'll get into, but photos and video is important. Now, if it's a wrongful death case, it's similar in that what we have to document, we really want to document the relationships and the person's life before they passed, and the closeness of the relationship between the person who passed away and the person who is going to be filing the wrongful death claim, or a claimant under the wrongful death action. So there are just a lot of different possibilities for evidence that can be helpful to the case, but we develop a game plan from day one as to, okay, here are the types of evidence that will be helpful to proving your case and to strengthening your case based on your specific facts, exactly what happened to you, the type of injury you sustained, and how it's affected your life. So yeah, so I would say that's the next step. Step 5, we're going through. Please watch the prior videos, which will go over steps 1 through 4. And please subscribe, because I'm going to continue going through the steps involved in a semi-truck accident case in terms of what the lawyers do. And really, you know, you can learn from these, and that's why I think you should subscribe, even if you already have a lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, please give us a call if you were seriously injured in a semi-truck accident. But these videos will help you understand how you can prove your case, right? How you can help, because now you know that photos and videos showing your struggles can be helpful to your case. I always tell my clients, if you're doing photos and videos, don't be showing yourself having a good time, throwing a party, laughing, having fun, you know, lifting boulders, which, believe it or not, happened in an injury case a few years ago, because videos can also be harmful. But you know, just if you're struggling and you really are suffering and you need to show that, video is really a good way to go. So until next time, I hope you'll stay safe and healthy. I'm gonna finish up my run here.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I want.
The legal portion of the video is over. I just thought I would share with you some clips from our run today and introduce you to my husband, John, as we're getting ready for our run. This is my husband, John, and we were just enjoying a bike ride and run on a weekend, which is something we have done since we first met 20 years ago. John is actually an accomplished marathon runner who happens to be injured at the moment, so he's been biking while I'm running.
Don't you just get tired chasing?
I thought it would be fun to finish with a little bit of John's bike ride today. He rode down to a lake.
You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder.
What do you want to eat for dinner?
Pizza.
We eat pizza.
Pizza and salad.
The problem with the pandemic is pizza.